Today, AOC's chances on Kalshi to become the Democrats' candidate for the next presidency in 2028 went up to 11%. There's a big discussion right now whether it's progressivism that should be the move going forward, a sort of post Bernie, like, I guess, redemption in a way for the party, considering the 2016 situation, the fact that the DNC did Bernie so dirty, did resonate with me somewhat stronger than the Trump win did, and Trump's actions sometimes to some degree do. This is one of those subtle situations that just permeate why people vote for Trump or accept Trump, or honestly causes the current state of like insanely intense nihilism that we see mostly on the left. I feel like the right has a bit more to fight for or to live for, weirdly enough, to put it like that. Let me know if you agree with me in the comments, but if you see what I mean, because I see on the left it's like both this like conspiracy, insane nihilism, like nothing matters, everyone in charge doesn't matter vibe. But there's also like this educated liberal in a big city who just has that opinion despite having like a decent career and a decent life and a decent income and like working really hard and like I don't know. On the right, I feel like most people who have a decent income or decent education or a good education and they have things going for them, they're more like, I can succeed in the system. There's obviously a lot of other factors going into this, and I'm not completely versed in all the data here. There's probably really interesting data on these differences. There's a big debate in the past few weeks, especially on Substack. There's been a lot of talk about just moderate leftists like not being the future. And especially from Ryan Getty, who's one of my favorite political commentators on YouTube. I'm going to make a video about him too and why he's about to blow up. There's this take where it's like we should make liberalism more populist. And there's just also this sort of moderate, like establishment take, this Ezra Klein-ish, even Rahm Emanuel sort of take that like tries to paint itself like or Ezra Klein, I think I hold him also responsible for a lot with Vox, but at least this Rahm Emanuel video, he did this interview with Politico and it's just the most like ass scratch and sniff yourself video ever. This Politico journalist just talking to him in like a Chicago pizza place, and it's like the most like theater I've ever seen. And it's like, yeah, I told Obama this in 2010 when I was his chief of staff, like trying to paint itself as like anti 2015 Obama optimism while also being against like Trump at every mean. And it's just the only people that will appeal to are like establishment Dems in their 50s or older, like not even Gen Xers. Even as a center person, like I don't mind, and as a European too, I don't really mind the progressive thing, and I don't really mind like the radical progressives taking over. I don't really mind Mandami that much. I do have some grievances with like the like playful like alignment with communism, but I guess you could make the same observations about the mainstream right's playful alliance with fascism, if you want to call it fascism or whatever. I don't really mind the progressive politics boom. I think it's a fair pendulum swing to the other side. I'm a little bit allergic to the idealism of the left sometimes. I think the Mamdani thing might work on a state level or a city level, and then federally, I'm not sure exactly how those policies could manifest themselves effectively, but maybe that's some sort of libertarian take. I don't know, and I'm willing to try it out because this is a democracy, and that's what we should be doing, trying new stuff out, which is kind of what's happening right now with Trump. My grievance with the Mamdani stuff is just the strong alignment to the communist thing. Communism and Nazism should be equally considered insanely bad, but we should also be able to talk about historically what they mean. That's essentially what I'm saying. The big question is the Newsom thing, and a lot can happen. I made a video about Hunter Biden, as mentioned, being like an interesting candidate. Obviously, that video speculates on it, and I don't know if he has that sort of Trump vein or Trump strain in him to go for it. Newsom is interesting because he is the Hillary. I don't even want to call him the Kamala of this election, because Kamala was a bit of an underdog in a way, whereas Hillary isn't at all, and I feel like Gavin Newsom isn't at all either. What he does have going for him, and I hate to pull the identity politics card, but he is a white, older, zaddy type dude. And I think that's going to help a lot just from an American perspective. There is a deep dislike for California and its politics, whether you like it or not, whether you think that's rooted in fact or not. Gavin Newsom is very good and at creating these clips that I wonder how much those clips that he does where he like flips the data and uses the facts and facts don't care about your feelings, how much that actually converts people as much as just rallies. That's interesting, right? Because Trump, when he won the last election, there was this great lecture at my college about it, where they were talking about how Trump is just not converting. He's just not trying to, and this is the like very much the marketing time we live in, similar to like Taylor Swift or even Kanye West. Like, rally the base, rally the base. If you rally your core audience, the effects will ripple. We're so deep into like the digital media advertising meta that like trying to convince someone by being like, yo, you should try this. This could be good. Or like the missionary tactic isn't really the prime strategy of this meta for marketing right now. Kamala was much more into like targeting certain demographics in certain states, like Indians in Atlanta. And well, she failed. But the funny thing is, if you rally your 50-year-old like establishment lib base, like does that cause any ripple effects? Like no, you need to rally the like youth and the people who are influencers and the people with brains, like people who have interesting things to say. Gavin Newsom is an interesting one. It's really hard to assess because there are like really strong pro factors, but there's also really strong cons to his potential candidacy. AOC, last time I checked, she was too young to run, but maybe she's old enough now. What I do know is that she has done these tours and she has done these rallies with Bernie Sanders, and she has the blessing of that movement and sort of is the torchbearer going forward. This is an interesting energy. So Kalshi prediction markets are maybe not always amazing, but it's interesting, and she should spin this and she should work this news cycle thing and like push it more and like see if she can keep going.